Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is Paul Pierce totally exposes ESPN for trying to manufacture or tarnish the legacy of Michael Jordan. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games. So many other cool things. We have that linked in the comment section below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So I've always said that, listen, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and it's not even close. I think when I say this, when I've said this in the past, I think a lot of people hear that and they're like, did he really just say that it's not even close? I'm like, yeah, it's not even close. When you delve into the numbers, and you really kind of look at and dissect Michael Jordan's career, you realize this guy was on a completely different level altogether, all by himself, and it wasn't really close. Now, the person I have next to him is Kareem at number 2, but if you look at Jordan's career, man, if you look at his accomplishments, this guy is just on a completely different league. And a lot of people feel like, oh, he's a Michael Jordan fan. I'm really not. I'm just somebody recognizing reality, right? And facts. If you go look at Michael Jordan's career, man, this guy's on another level. If you talk about his impact on basketball, off the court, it's unmatched, really. So I just always thought that it was funny that some people try to make it a debate. And when I say that Jordan is the GOAT, the greatest of all time by a wide margin, people can't believe it. But the fact of the matter is, he is the best basketball player that has ever lived and is not really close in my opinion. But if you leave it to ESPN, they will try to make you think otherwise. And some people may be wondering, well, why are you always coming to ESPN? No one is coming at ESPN. ESPN is coming at themselves right now, right? It's like one gaffe after, like just one thing after the next. It's like a running joke. So, they're doing it to themselves, to be quite honest with you, because you don't hear us talking about other networks like this because other networks are not doing this as much to themselves, but it seems to be ESPN. They seem to be on a roll. But if you leave it to ESPN, they'll want their viewers to think otherwise, right? They're the ones that are out there really trying to manufacture and fabricate this whole Jordan versus LeBron debate, to the point where a lot of NBA players, current and former, have sat back and scratched their heads and asked themselves, like, what are we talking about here? Like, when did this debate happen, right? But ESPN, they're the ones that have been trying to make this thing credible when it's not. And they're the ones that have overlooked credible candidates like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Some people may say Magic Johnson. Some people may say, Kobe Bryant. Some people may say Larry Bird. They've overlooked all of these guys to just kind of focus in on LeBron. And I've always said this, that I feel that LeBron James controls ESPN without a doubt. He controls the networks. It's something that LeBron James unwittingly admitted once on a podcast that he did with his friend and former teammate, Richard Jefferson. The name of the podcast is called Road Tripping. This podcast took place last year during the lockdown during the global pandemic, and LeBron James pretty much admitted that Richard Jefferson, there's no way that he could be fired because, he works at ESPN, and, ESPN will never fire Richard Jefferson. I'm like, what gives this guy the impetus to make such a statement? Like, where does he get the chutzpah to make such a statement like that? And it turns out, LeBron James has a lot of pull at the network. So recently, one of LeBron James's former nemesis and former employees at ESPN, Paul Pierce, came out, and by recently we're talking about within the last 24 hours or so, came out and made some pretty big statements that's been getting a lot of headway and picking up a lot of attention. Now, we all know Paul Pierce is a rival of LeBron James. They played against each other, on the court when Paul Pierce was playing with the Boston Celtics. They've had some classic back and forths in the Eastern Conference when they used to, go back and forth. This is when LeBron James was playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think it even happened. There was a showdown when he was playing with the Miami Heat. So Paul Pierce and LeBron James have always been going back and forth with each other. But as y'all know, Paul Pierce was fired from ESPN because of a video that came out, because he was, having some extracurricular activities at his house. So Paul Pierce recently made some comments as it pertained to that situation there with ESPN, and I want to read some of the things that he had to say. He said, "I was done with them," right? Says Paul Pierce. He says, "It wasn't a great fit. There's a lot of stuff over there that you can't say, and you have to talk about LeBron James all the time." And I thought that was a pretty interesting statement that Paul Pierce just made, saying you have to talk about LeBron James all the time. right? Now, this is an insider saying as much. Now, some people may say Paul Pierce is a hater. Even if he is a hater, the fact of the matter is that doesn't change the fact that he worked at the network, which means that he has a lot of credibility, with the things that he's saying because he worked there. It's not like you and I saying, oh, he's a hater and he can't be true. But I never worked at ESPN. I don't know. Maybe some of you have, but most of you haven't, I would assume. So we can't have the same level of credibility that somebody that worked there would, right? And this is what, this guy, this is what he said. And I thought that was pretty telling, but at the same time, it isn't surprising, right? I don't think most people, I don't think most people are surprised by this, right? Now, some people feel like, oh, you must really not like LeBron. No, it's not that. Listen, I don't have any issues with LeBron James. I never met LeBron James. I most likely will never meet LeBron James. I don't know LeBron James, right? What I don't like some of his tactics. Right. I don't like the way he tries to control the narrative. I don't like the way he tries to manufacture storylines that don't exist, right? Just to get attention. I don't like his obsessive need for attention. I don't like that. There's a lot of peacocking that goes on with LeBron that I don't like. It's like it seems to be LeBron even with the status that he has in the world. He seems to be that someone that doesn't seem to be enough for him. Right. It seems that he always needs some kind of reinforcement from people outside to tell him you're great, you're awesome, you're this, you're that. People always have to talk about him to pacify his ego. And I think that's quite strange, given the fact that you're on top of the world. Right. Proverbially speaking, you're on top of the world. And you still feel this need for people to constantly pat you on the back and tap you on the shoulder. For me, if I'm thinking to myself, if I'm at that level, I don't need anybody to tell me anything because I already know what I am. I already know what I'm worth. I already know all the things that I've accomplished. I already know what's in my bank account. So who cares? If you give me my props or not, I'm taking my props. Like I already know who I am, right? So I don't need all of that. And I feel like LeBron just has this need to be at the center of attention. Even when something positive happens for other people, he always has to chime in. And I'm like, bro, let this dude have his time in the sun. Nobody wants to hear from you right now. Somebody wants a championship. This guy, nobody cares. Like, let them be, because the minute you interject yourself, you're going to be part of the discussion. Just let it be, right? But he just seems to be someone that is just always in need, craving for attention. I just don't like that, right? I don't like that. And that's just me. Right. That's just me. I'm not that type of dude. I'm on Instagram. I rarely post. If I post, I'm posting something substantive. You're not going to see me posting a bunch of random nonsense, me drinking coffee or going out. Like, come on. Like, I don't need that type of attention. And that's just me. And that's just something I don't vibe with. And I have every single right to feel that way because we all have our rights to our own opinion. And I think it's funny when you see people come to our channel and they ask, well, why are you always talking about Kawhi Leonard? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? When was the last time you saw somebody talk about the dude? Dude is nice. He's a great player. Dude knows how to play, and he never gets any sunshine, man. Nobody ever talks about the guy. There must be a balance out there somewhere, but I think people want to go around the internet, see the same talking points all over the place. The minute that they see something different than they used to, all of a sudden, oh, this guy is hating. Why didn't he mention this guy? We put up some polls on our channel because we're really trying to change the narrative, or at least provide a different side to the coin. We put up a lot of polls and we ask different questions and people are astonished. We put up a poll: who would win in a one-on-one against Michael Jordan or LeBron James? You see like 80% of the people pick Jordan. People coming, you're hating. Like, what? You hate LeBron. It's like, no, bro, you can't deal with the fact that other people don't feel the way that you think they feel, given all of the information that you've been, fed on ESPN and all of these different places. That shocks people. Like, really? 8 out of every 10 people feel that Jordan will beat this guy? Really? That's not what I heard on TV. You put it up with Kobe Bryant. People are like, what? 7 out of every 10 people feel Kobe would beat him on a one. Like, really? People think that? And it bothers some people, right? Because it's something different, and I think that's important. Sports, people have different opinions. And I feel too often, I feel like they throw out these storylines and it makes it seem like as if this is what everybody thinks, when it's not the reality. And that's what Paul Pierce said. He said, you must talk about this guy all the time. And by doing so, it creates a picture in people's minds of something that's not there. That's the reason why a lot of people really think then this Jordan and LeBron thing is close. It's not close, folks. It is not even close. There's nothing about it that's close. People are handing out second place awards. It's crazy People are actually handing out second place medals. Well, he made it to the finals 10 times. Who cares? You lost. What are we talking about? Since when do we start giving out second place award? Nobody cares, man. It just means you're the first loser. Nobody cares. And people try to count it, right? Like, oh, no, but you went to fight. Bro, how many times did he win? Like, this is the most absurd line of thinking, but people want to do it. So I think, I think it's good that Paul Pierce put that piece of information out there because he's giving another side of the coin. And the beautiful part about it is this. Paul Pierce has bleep you money. Ain't nothing you gonna do to Paul. What you gonna do? Fire him and so what? He still's worth $40-50 million. He doesn't care, right? He doesn't care. There's nothing you can do to him. He's unbothered by it when you have that type of money. It doesn't matter. And you can see Paul Pierce doesn't give a damn. And I love it that he had the courage to say what he thinks. And I believe what he said is true. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about what Paul Pierce had to say? What do you think about some of the things that I had to say? What do you think about the job ESPN is doing? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamers Pro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode.